Boy, it's quiet in here. Y'all don't ever talk to each other? Huh? Asking about each other's family? Or it's time to go to work now? I got you. Trying to get home.
Coach, congrats on the win. What was the message to the team after the great defensive second half?
Well, again, offensively, thought that they were, fantastic really from the jump in the first half. Put a lot of pressure on Iowa State. Obviously, we started the game pretty good with Billy having a pick six and having a little bit of success that way. So that was good on defense. And then, we left a lot to be desired on several drives. Thought they made some really good plays. They executed. And we had some things break down fundamentally and situationally. But really pleased, defensively how we responded. They didn't score for the last 39-plus minutes after putting 20 on us and scoring on 4 of the first 5 drives with a couple of field goals and touchdowns. And then again, in the second half, really great to respond on defense. 28 plays, 82 yards, just under 3 yards of play. Again, I thought our mindset was great. Offense came out of halftime and scored a touchdown, 8-play, 85-yard drive, and we have talked about the middle 8. We've actually played pretty good on defense in the middle 8 in our first 4 games, and today another day where they didn't score. And I think that's right, that we haven't given up anything defensively in the last 4 minutes, in the first 4 minutes of the first and the second half defensively. And so we went 17-0. Offensively, we'd only scored a couple field goals there through the first 4 games. And so today, with the way we finished the first half offensively and then came right back out and scored again, I thought that was really big in the big scope of things, on the day. So, again, Dylan was fantastic. We've talked about it all week. Iowa State, now defensively, for the last several years, y'all would know a lot better than me, but it's been several years. They've been the proverbial gold standard, on defense in this conference. And they've been the model of consistency, and they've got a fantastic staff and do a great job developing players and putting guys in position to be successful. And so, to do some of the things that we did, that's the most points against Iowa State in 9 years, and that's the second time that they've given up 50 points in a game since 2015. And Dylan, 366 yards passing was the most that they've given up since 2020. And and then that's his first game of multiple rushing touchdowns. But I go back to Iowa State, and so what we were able to do against them offensively was, just hasn't been done consistently. So really good night. Again, offense was good in the red zone, 4 out of 5, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. And then third and fourth down offensively, we're a little over 50% again, which is outstanding. And then defensively, third and fourth down, they were 5 of 17. So under 30% is, an outstanding number. So, again, I like how we responded. That's my biggest thing. Guys took accountability. They owned their work and some of the things that we needed to do. Tried to do some things to help us a little bit from a scheme standpoint. Small things situationally, and thought we were a little better. But like I said, we have so far to go. Really, again, as a football team, but I really liked, if we want to have the kind of season that we want, we needed to, you got to get to 5-0, and this is about improving and being relentless, to improve. You got to get better. We're not a championship team, right now, but this was another step in trying to get there. And but I love the will and the fight and the toughness and the leadership. I told the guys this morning, leadership it's not a position, it's an act. It's being a doer, and it can't just be Danny Stutzman and Dylan Gabriel. If we're gonna what we're trying to do culturally and in our locker room, and having something that has longevity and has real roots. That, we've got to, this has got to be a player-led football team. I don't want guys that are just compliant. I want guys to lead. Coaches get out the way, and we're getting better there. And that's, you develop that. Some guys are naturally there, and then we got to promote it and nurture it. And I think that'll be a critical part of continuing to improve and developing, our football team both now and in the future.
Is one more step along the way towards Marcus Major? Did you see more from him to kind of say, all right, I'm cool with trying to do this?
Yeah, I thought we ran, Marcus ran with great toughness. Gavin got in there, ran with toughness. You saw it's too bad for Talwee having to take that last one. We had a receiver that was holding, I think, that one off, but you saw him running through some trash as well. And then again, I love, and this is not a rusher, but I love the competitive play that Jaden Gibson made. And we've continued to improve that way to make competitive, tough, challenged plays and strain at the top of the route offensively. Some really good stuff, and again, came out of the game and +1 again. We're +8 on the season in the turnover margin, which is, again, that gives you a chance to win a lot of games. We're top 5 in the country in turnover margin. So blocked a kick, another big play in special teams. They called it, Coach Nunez and Coach Valai put those guys in position, and they worked the heck out of it all week, and thinking that things would be just like they were on that play. And so it's just gives you affirmation, can create more buy-in when you speak it into existence for those guys. And so they'll be excited to practice and fine-tune and get better with that as well. It all matters. So.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Is it good for your defense to be stressed like this?
Yeah.
You have to make those in-game adjustments in the second quarter when you're going into a week like that.
Yeah, no doubt. You expose some things and where we got to get better. Again, scheme, fundamentally, technique, eyes, all those things. Responding to some adversity, when nobody likes to give up a play and be that guy that is responsible, for giving up a play. And but I love the ownership, the leadership that's part of that. That won't be the last time, that we face real, on the field adversity. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to grow and get better, through that.
Sorry, Brent. Those 2 touchdown passes, it looked like guys were going for interceptions when the receiver was catching the football. Was it as simple as that?
There's, I think, at a couple of different the levels there, but our middle of the field players got to stay in the post. And that can't happen, so we got to have a little more discipline there. And situation, I thought the quarterback put it on them, and I thought they did a good job, the route running, and hit it just right. So I thought they had, really good execution as well, and that caused us to do that. And then that 3rd and 2, just right over, we have a defender underneath, and we had a defender outside, had a defender inside, and just split us. So you can't do that on defense, and we got to be better than that. And so it'd be good to be able to chew on them a little bit this week.
But Brent, how great is it though your team responded? I mean, you had 20 points, you're reeling a little bit, then all of a sudden, boom, you shut them out the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think it's really big. I think that's signs that, all right, we're not as bad as we look like. It's not as bad as it looked. It was bad. It looked bad, and it was bad in the moment. But 39-plus minutes after that happened, not allowing, a score after that last field goal, 9-play, 50-yard drive, we go 3 and out, interception. Then it was a half. Then we come right out in the second half and go 3 and out, punt, 4 plays, and they went for it on 4th down, turned over on downs, 5 plays, 19 yards, another punt, and then that last group was in there and did a really good job of. I love that, I love it when we they're trying to score there at the end, and our guys responded and kept them out. So that was fun for those guys, but a really strong response, and that ultimately is how all of us are defined when in the football world, that's life happening on the football field, how you respond. And so that's a sign of some maturity and, again, accountability and leadership from our players.
Are you seeing Dylan's confidence just grow each week? It seemed like he almost had a bit of a swagger to him tonight.
Yeah. No, he's playing good, in lots of ways. He's playing really good, and he's leading with, toughness. And, he's in a much different place as a leader, and his confidence, just being here, And, again, all things considered, again, there's still 97 guys that are either in their first or second year here, and he's a new guy. And so the way he is continued to develop, worked, led, played, it's, I'm really, really proud of him.
I'm sorry. How much better do you feel like he is on those deep balls, especially this year? We see Iowa State generally doesn't allow many of those tonight for, I think, over 39 yards, and especially the ones to Gibson and Anderson.
Yeah, he did a great job. He climbed in the pocket a few times. He stepped outside and kept his eyes down the field. He plays with great poise and composure, most of the time. And I thought the receivers made some really nice plays. They climbed the ladder, and the offensive line, did a great job of giving him a firm pocket. And so he's confident, and that's a confident group of guys, that he has around him. But those opportunities are going to be there based on the things that we do, and so. The precision, the timing, all of that has been, really, really good.
Brent, you mentioned the punt block earlier. Peyton Bowen now has 2 punt blocks on the year. Maybe just what is he showing as an impactful player on special teams? Yeah, just what you said. He's a football player. The little details of the game are not too much for him, and a lot of times for freshmen they are. And he's. What I love about Peyton is he comes every day. He's hungry, willing to do whatever he wants. He wants to help in any way, and so really a selfless guy, and again an instinctual guy. So good football players, they just make plays, and but scheme wise and stuff, he understands the details, and the precision that it requires too, and then he's skilled on top of that.
Brent, we spent all summer saying we're not going to know much about this team until Texas. I assume you weren't saying that. So up to this point, what have you learned about your team?
Yeah, I would completely and totally disagree, For some people, that's the benchmark. I get that. And but for us, man, this is a program that has standards that are incredibly high. And showing up every day to those standards for your opportunity, to how you practice, to how you work, to how you lead, to how you represent as keepers of the room, and representing the name on the front of your jersey. Our guys have done a fantastic job. And again, I don't know all the exact numbers, but what I have really enjoyed is the improvement the returning players have made through a lot of hard work and intentionality and having to go through the fire. And I really liked the group of guys that are newcomers, both freshmen that we recruited, and the transfer portal players that have made a decision to blend in, to have the humility, and do things our way, to buy into the culture, and we've up to this point have flipped the script in a lot of the measurables that we were. I'm not very good a year ago. As I said earlier this week, we still have a long way to go, but there's been incremental improvement, and I'd be a fool not to recognize that, and let our players know how much we appreciate them, the work, and but there ain't none of us satisfied, and know that there's going to be tougher. More challenges here down the road. Things don't get easier as you climb, the mountain. It gets harder. And for all the reasons, mentally, physically, teams that we're playing, and but this is a program that's represented excellence for a long time. And last year was a terrible representation of that, and all of that falls, on my shoulders. But proud of the players and the staff that have bought in, and the improvements that we've made. And but nobody here is satisfied or feel like we've arrived, but we, you gotta, and you're in the middle of, doing what we love to do. There's a lot of challenges, and our players put in a lot of hard work, and so to affirm them is the right thing to do along the way, but also to point out, they're not handing out any trophies for being 5-0, but we're where we wanted to be. And we made some improvement in areas that we knew we had to get better, and but we still, again, have a long way to go. And but this is a group of guys that are willing to put in the work to do it.
Any update on Stutzman, Gentry Williams that kind of got banged up? Or?
Yeah, they're good. They're both good. And y'all know, I heard maybe Justin Harrington had a ACL surgery yesterday morning. So I hate that for Justin, but he's going to try to get another year, and looks like that'll likely take place, but that has to go through its process, after the season. Hate that for him, as I've bragged on Justin. Now I know I talked about several other guys that had season-ending surgery here the last week or so, but Justin's a great leader. If he stood up here right now in front of a mic, y'all would just melt with his perspective, his toughness, his love for his teammates. He's a special guy, and he'll be a big part of helping us lead and keep encouraging our guys and bringing out the best in them.
Coach on Thursday morning.
I'm sorry?
Surgery's Thursday morning.
What is today?
Saturday.
All right, I lose track of days. Yeah, he was in my office yesterday morning. That's what it was. Yep, Thursday morning.
I don't mean this flippantly, but are you doing a better job?
What does that mean? That's a little of my IQ.
In context, I know. I don't know if I can define it. Are you doing a better job? Is your staff doing a better job? Is there a chemistry that's better? Because the way you turned it on a dime today, I know it's your players, but I got to believe you guys responded well too.
I think it's everybody. That would be negligent not to recognize everybody being more familiar, better chemistry, more efficient, me being more trustworthy or trusting in other people. And, again, last year was a year of the first. There's plenty of people that have year of the first, and they did a hell of a lot better in 6 and 7. But that don't have nothing to do with us. And but through all the turnover and a whole new coaching staff, a couple guys obviously stayed here. Again, we've made a lot of improvements programmatically in and how we prepare, and then all the things that we're doing, on the field from a scheme and fundamental standpoint too.
Brent, how well did you feel like you ran the ball today?
I thought we ran the ball really well. I don't know what we averaged per rush, but I just look at the efficiency of it. And again, remember, sometimes we have called runs, but they're all actual, RPOs. But I know Marcus rushed for 66 yards on 19 carries. And had some good tough yards, man, at the right time. And Sawchuk had 20, rushed for 20 on 7 carries. Tawi had 4 for 17, and Gabriel had 8 for 37 and 2 touchdowns. Those were, big runs, and scrambled a time or two as well. So I thought we were efficient there. And again, Iowa State, they don't give up a whole lot in any place, passing or rushing. So thought that was really good on their part, how we had some balance in what we were doing.
Anything else? Speaking of the run game, this is the second game I don't think Javonte Orange has touched the field. Is there something that...
Yeah, he's not fully healthy. I don't know what the percentage would be, and but he had the surgery late in the spring, and it's just kind of a funky spot, and so, but that's the main reason. So.
Coach, in the second half, we talked about it a little bit, but was it you all making adjustments there, or was it just the team settling in?
It's a little bit of everything, very slight, subtle adjustments. Obviously, they were a good staff. They did several things that were a little different against Oklahoma State last week, and they had their best offensive game. And again, there's nothing that's reinventing the wheel, but defense is trained reaction, and so there was a few new things, but I don't think those big plays. Oh, they had some success in other spots that weren't the big plays that we don't like. You know, we lost the edge of our defense entirely too many times. Let the quarterback scramble a time or two. We let receivers break open in man coverage, where we lose leverage in the break of the route, which can't happen. Some of our spots underneath in coverage can't happen, and then our post player, we lost him a couple of different times. So we got to. But that being said, overall, again, our guys responded we were a little tighter. I don't think we were loose, and I give it to their execution. And then maybe our fundamental breakdown, the big plays. They had the long run. Our edge defender ran too far up the field. He's playing it's a mesh game, and he's playing the quarterback. And you can't do that. You got to take first threat. You got to, use the right technique. We worked that technique a lot. He ran right by the ball. I tell him, you just can't crap another defender. I mean, that's your gap. You can't have two guys in the same gap. And but didn't like how that split us. We ran him down and end up holding on there. But so there's fundamentally and technique and adjusting. There's plenty of things that we did a little bit better, a little cleaner in the second half that we didn't do right. And some of the non-explosives, but they're 8 and 10 and 11-yard runs where we got to be better, a lot better.
What did you think of Brendan Thompson tonight?
Yeah, it was good. They said they were going to get him involved early. I saw his mama in the Walk of Champions. I said, get ready. Your baby going to get his number called. So it was good he did a nice job adjusting to that ball and double coverage there.
He's the type of weapon, he's just got another gear, doesn't he?
He's really fast. Really, really fast. Faster than fast. So it's good to have him back out there. All right. Good to see everybody. Yep, you bet.